Ms. Yeo Wan Ling.
Speaker, may I have your permission to take questions 3 and 4 together?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Persons who feel unwell and are travelling to and from their polymerase chain reaction or PCR test venue are required to commute via private transport, which includes taxis or private hire cars, PHCs. As these persons are taking regular taxis or PHCs, there is an adequate supply to meet their needs. These passengers should inform their taxi and PHC drivers about their health status so that the drivers may take appropriate precautions. Drivers have been advised to switch off the aircon when ferrying these passengers, wind down their windows during and after each trip, and clean their vehicles after the trips. Passengers should also sit at the back diagonally from the drivers. The Ministry of Health has assessed that these measures are sufficient to minimize the risk of in-vehicle transmission of the virus, and there is no need for extra precautionary measures, such as having drivers put on the full personal protective equipment. Furthermore, about 98% of our taxi and PHC drivers are fully vaccinated.
Ms. Yeo Wan Ling.
Thank you, SMS, for the comprehensive and very empathetic answer. Our P2P drivers have been very supportive of our journey to the endemic phase and appreciates the government's continued support of this industry during this period. Given that our P2P drivers will be ferrying more patients and passengers who are exposed to the virus, would the government be putting in measures to have the taxi and platform companies put in clearer safety SOPs or protocols for drivers and their vehicles? And should our P2P drivers have to self-isolate, will there be additional support for them given that they would have difficulties with their daily rentals of their vehicles during this isolation period?
Thank the member for her supplementary questions. We note the concerns of the drivers. We have received the feedback from the drivers, the associations, and NTUC about ferrying unwell or AG positive passengers. So we have to work with the Ministry of Health, who will remind the passengers to declare their health status to the drivers so that the drivers can take the necessary precautions to further minimize the risk of in-vehicle transmission of the virus. And MOH has actually put this information up on their website in their FAQs on health protocols. So this is already up. We are also, LTA will be putting it up on our website, and LTA is also working with the operators and the associations to publicize this message to the drivers as well as the passengers. So for instance, sending email to their passengers, the database of passengers, to remind them to actually declare their health status so that the drivers can take action, and also, of course, to remind the drivers of the additional precautions that they can take. And in fact, we are also working with the operators to see if we can craft a message that can be printed out and the drivers can opt to display in their vehicles to remind the passengers. So this is what we are doing to give assurance to the drivers. With regards to support for the drivers, the operators actually have various measures to provide support to the drivers who either are tested positive for COVID-19 and cannot drive, or they are required to, self-isolate and therefore cannot drive. So all the taxi operators actually provide rental waivers for the drivers who cannot drive due to COVID-19, or that they have to self-isolate. And the two biggest PHC operators, Grab and Gojek, actually provide prolonged medical leave insurance coverage for the drivers. And this involves financial payouts if the drivers are not able to drive again because for these reasons. In addition to that, actually drivers who contract COVID as a result of providing services, in a heightened COVID-19 situation, for instance, faring this AG Plus for their PCR tests, they can actually apply for a one-time relief of $3,000 through the Courage Fund for frontliners that is administered by the National Council of Social Services.